Infrasounds so powerful, they've been banned by governments, feared by scientists, and blamed for everything from psychological warfare to mass hysteria. Some can trigger panic, others, pure madness. These aren't just weird tones. They're real, and they were silenced for a reason. Let's break down the 5 most dangerous. The brown note is a legendary low-frequency sound, supposedly between 5 and 9 hertz, said to cause involuntary defecation in anyone who hears it. While that sounds like an urban myth, the science of infrasound suggests otherwise. Infrasound, sound below 20 hertz, can absolutely cause physical discomfort, nausea, and disorientation. In 2004, Mythbusters tested the brown note using massive subwoofers and found no bowel-emptying results, but they did confirm that certain low frequencies make people feel dizzy, anxious, and physically unwell. Interestingly, the US military once explored the use of low-frequency sonic weapons designed to disorient or disable enemies without firing a single shot. These tests reportedly included frequencies so low they could cause muscle spasms and confusion. Whether or not the infamous brown note truly exists as popularly imagined, the idea of sound being weaponized to cause total loss of control is far from fiction. In certain scenarios, sonic suppression and crowd control systems use infrasound to subdue people. And while these devices aren't commercially available, their use has been quietly documented in military circles. For decades, modern music has been tuned to 440 hertz, a standard that seems harmless until you dig deeper. Before the mid-20th century, many instruments were tuned to 432 hertz, a frequency some claim is mathematically harmonious with nature, the Earth's vibration, and even cosmic energy. Supporters say 432 hertz has calming, healing effects, while 440 hertz feels tense or agitating. Oddly enough, it was during the 1930s, under Nazi influence, that 440 hertz became widely promoted as the global standard. Some believe it wasn't just for consistency, it was about subtle psychological manipulation. While the evidence is debated, the tonal differences are real. Music tuned to 432 hertz feels softer, more pleasant to many listeners, and it's still favored in sound healing practices. Critics argue that 440 hertz disrupts our natural resonance and encourages anxiety or mental agitation. While not technically banned, major music labels avoid 432 hertz like the plague, and the industry rarely tolerates deviation from the standard, raising the question, what are we being tuned away from? In the 1980s, British engineer Vic Tandy experienced terrifying hallucinations while working late in a lab. He felt watched, sick, and suddenly saw a shadowy figure beside him, but it vanished. The cause? A low-frequency sound wave, 19 hertz, coming from a fan. This frequency matched the natural resonant frequency of the human eyeball, causing visual distortions and extreme unease. In other words, his eyes were literally vibrating, tricking his brain into seeing things that weren't there. Since then, studies have confirmed that infrasound between 17 and 20 hertz can induce anxiety, depression, and even panic attacks in large groups of people. Some haunted houses and horror films have used 19 hertz discreetly to enhance fear, making people feel unsettled without realizing why. Governments don't outright ban 19 hertz, but in public spaces, especially theaters and stadiums, it's heavily regulated. Because if used irresponsibly, it can cause crowd panic, fainting, and even physical illness, all without a sound you can consciously hear. That's the truly disturbing part. You don't hear the fear frequency, it hears you. 741 hertz is one of the most controversial frequencies in modern sound theory, and it's tied to something ancient and ominous. In the Middle Ages, a musical interval called the tritone, or Diabolus in Musica, was banned by the church. It was believed to summon evil, or at least stir dark thoughts. Today, 741 hertz falls within the space of that unsettling interval and is said by sound therapists to awaken consciousness by unblocking suppressed emotions and detoxifying the mind. But the reason it's avoided may be because of how it awakens us. Reports describe 741 Hz triggering intense emotional breakdowns, disturbing memories, or overwhelming feelings of exposure. Unlike soothing frequencies like 528 Hz used for healing, 741 Hz often destabilizes people before it heals them, forcing a confrontation with what's hidden. Certain religious groups and digital platforms refuse to distribute content using 741 Hz due to reports of adverse reactions. Whether it's ancient spiritual fear or modern psychological impact, the frequency remains either feared, respected, or censored. In 2016, U.S. diplomats in Havana began experiencing strange symptoms: piercing headaches, ear pain, memory loss, and disorientation. It wasn't a virus or poison, it was sound. They reported hearing a high-pitched pulsing noise just before the symptoms began. Later recordings analyzed the pitch and found it ranged between 7,000 and 10,000 Hz. The condition became known as Havana syndrome, and while the U.S. government never confirmed the weapon used, investigations pointed toward directed energy or ultrasonic devices. The idea is terrifying: a sound-based weapon that can attack the human brain without physical contact, leaving no trace. Further reports surfaced in China, Europe, and even Washington, D.C., with similar symptoms and the same strange, high-pitched tone. Some experts believe these frequencies target the vestibular system, causing extreme balance issues, nausea, and neurological damage. While this specific frequency range isn't banned for normal use, when pulsed in particular patterns, it's believed to become weaponized. And that's why access is tightly controlled by military agencies. The real question: how many times has this weapon been used, and on whom? From hidden military experiments to spiritual frequencies banned for centuries. These sounds don't just entertain, they manipulate, disorient, and in some cases destroy. Whether it's a low hum you can't hear or a tone that shakes your emotions to the core, the frequencies we've just explored have one thing in common: they've all been hidden, discouraged, or outright banned for a reason. If you want us to cover more forbidden frequencies or explore the science of sound manipulation deeper, let us know in the comments. And remember, not every silence means peace. Sometimes it's protection.